7:40 in the morning here in Chicago. At least that's what my old watch says. But I'm not sure time works the same way anymore. It feels like the air is heavier. It feels like my own heartbeat is louder than it should be. I'm still here, broadcasting from a backup generator that I've hooked up to an old analog transmitter. If you can hear me, I'm glad you're still there. I've been trying to hold this station together with duct tape, paper clips, and a prayer since everything went dark. The city outside my little booth looks like someone pressed pause on the world. Cars are stuck in every direction on Lakeshore Drive. No lights, no sound, no movement except for the wind coming off the lake. The air tastes like rust. There's a smell that never goes away now, a kind of burnt metal smell. And sometimes I think I can hear a low hum that doesn't belong to anything, like the sky itself is groaning. Drop a comment. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is for you. I keep thinking about that morning when it all started. It was 3 days ago, but it feels like 3 years. I was driving to the station, normal morning traffic, you know? Coffee in one hand, one eye on the road, the usual slow crawl past Whacker. Then my radio cut out. Just static. I thought it was the car, but when I looked around, every single car around me slowed down at the same time. It was like someone pulled the plug on everything at once. No engines, no horns, just silence. A few people got out and started yelling, but even the yelling sounded small. I got out too, and there was this weird look on everyone's face. Confused, angry, scared. Nobody could get their phone to turn on. Not even the flashlights worked. That was the first clue. This wasn't just the power grid. It was everything. By the time I got here to the station, the phones were dead. Landlines, too. The emergency lights were barely glowing. Something deep down told me this wasn't going to come back on in a few hours. I sat there, listening to that empty static, and that's when the sky made that sound. It wasn't thunder. I've been through 1,000 storms here, and nothing ever sounded like that. It was like the whole sky bent in half. Some people screamed. Some of them dropped to the ground, holding their heads like the noise was inside them. It lasted maybe a minute. Then nothing. No cars, no planes, no phones, nothing. Now, 3 days later, the city is coming apart. It started small, people walking everywhere because they couldn't drive. Then, by the second day, you could hear glass breaking at night. By last night, there were fires. Not big ones yet, but enough to make the sky look bruised. There's a lot of talk out there about what's happening. The only reason I'm still able to talk to you is because of an old ham radio rig we had in storage. This old thing runs on a crank and a deep cycle battery I managed to pull out of a truck. It's not strong. My range is probably just the city, maybe a little further. But if you can hear me, it means you're still alive. And that means there's a chance. I want to tell you what I know. Yesterday, I ran into someone who used to work at Fermilab, the particle lab out west. His name's Victor. He told me something that I can't stop thinking about. He said this isn't a simple blackout. He said the Earth itself is acting wrong. He said their instruments started picking up shifts in gravity a few weeks ago. Just little ones, like a hiccup. Nobody listened to them, because, well, nobody ever listens until something breaks. And then, 2 days before everything went dark, they saw it. A dip in the readings. Like something massive out there was pulling at us. Something invisible. Victor thinks there's something moving near us in space. Something heavy enough to mess with tides and magnetic fields. He said, maybe it's a black hole. Maybe a collapsed star that's just close enough now that we can feel it in our bones. When he said that, I thought about how I haven't slept right since that first noise. How my head pounds like there's pressure inside it. How every night feels longer than it should. He said if he's right, then this is just the start. He said things are going to get worse before they get better. You know, I keep thinking about my neighbor, an old man named Arthur. Before everything went dark, he always used to sit on his porch with this old shortwave radio, just clicking through the static like he was looking for a ghost. I passed his house yesterday and he was still out there, except now he wasn't turning the knob. He just sat with it in his lap, like he was waiting for it to come back alive. His face was gray. He looked at me and said, "Can you feel it in your teeth?" I didn't know what to say to that. I do feel something though, like the air itself is pushing against my skin. I think about how everything we thought made us strong turned out to be so weak. I used to think of Chicago as noise, cars, horns, trains, the L overhead, voices everywhere. Now I can stand outside on Michigan Avenue and hear my own breath. All that noise was life, and without it, this place feels like a graveyard. I've been walking the streets between broadcasts, looking for food mostly, but also just looking for something human. Yesterday I saw a group of people carrying buckets of water from the lake. They had cut open a garden hose and tied it to a pole to dip down into the water. They were filling up old soda bottles. One of them waved at me. That wave felt like the most normal thing in the world. I almost cried right there in the street because of it. There's a store on State Street with a big glass front. On the first day, it was untouched. People were too scared to do anything. By the second night, someone broke in. Not for money. Nobody cares about that now. They took food, water, batteries. They left the rest. I saw a pile of cash on the floor and nobody even glanced at it. I don't know how long I can keep this going. The generator's fuel is low, and I don't know if I can find more. But for now, I'll tell you what I've seen, and if you can hear me, if you can even whisper back through the static on some old radio, then I'll know I'm not the only one still awake. I saw the lake today. It didn't look right. It's lower, like the water itself is pulling away from the shore. And there was this sound, like a low vibration coming from under the surface. Nobody else seemed to notice. They just filled their buckets and left. But I stood there, feeling it through my shoes. I think about what Victor said, about gravity bending, and I wonder if this is what the end feels like. Not an explosion, not a fireball, just everything slowly pulled out of place until we come apart. I need to tell you this too. If you're hearing me, and you're still thinking, someone's going to come and fix this, stop waiting. Nobody's coming. The police are gone. The city offices are locked. There's no help. You have to help yourself and the people closest to you. Find food. Find water. Get candles. Learn how to use a knife to cut open a can. Learn how to make a siphon. Keep your shoes near your bed. You may have to leave in the middle of the night. And if you have neighbors, talk to them. Don't hide. People are scared, and scared people do stupid things. I saw something last night that stuck with me. I was cutting through an alley, and I saw a little girl sitting on the ground with a flashlight that didn't work. She was just clicking the button over and over. She said her mom went to look for food and hadn't come back. I sat with her for an hour until someone finally came looking for her. The way she hugged that woman when she saw her, I can't stop thinking about it. This city is breaking apart, but we're still here. As long as we're here, there's something to fight for. I'm going to keep talking until my voice runs out or this machine dies, because I need someone to know what's happening. Even if it's just so one day, someone finds these tapes and knows we didn't just vanish. If you're out there, if you can hear me, take a deep breath. Right now, in this moment, you're alive. Hold on to that. I'm not going to lie. I'm scared. I don't know if I'll see another sunrise that feels like a sunrise. But as long as I can sit in this chair and speak into this mic, I'll try. Something else happened this morning. I woke up to this weird flicker in the sky. Not lightning. It was like the air itself was folding. It made no sound. Just this pale shimmer over the lake. And for a moment, I swear the world tilted. Like I had to hold onto the wall so I wouldn't fall sideways. It only lasted a few seconds. Then everything felt normal again. But nothing is normal. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's whatever's out there pulling at us. Maybe the planet is groaning. Maybe the ground under us isn't as solid as we think. I've been thinking about my dad a lot. He used to tell me stories about the blackout in 2003. He said people went outside and talked to each other, played board games, grilled food before it went bad. He made it sound like an adventure. This isn't like that. This isn't just the lights. It's something bigger, something pulling us apart, and we don't know how far it will go. If you're still listening, write this down. Even if you don't have a pen, scratch it into a piece of wood or etch it on a wall. Water, food, warmth, people. Those are the only things that matter now. And keep an eye on the sky. If it makes that sound again, get low to the ground and cover your ears. I don't know if it helps, but it feels like the noise digs straight into your skull. I'll keep this going for as long as I can. My name is Hunter Briggs. This is Chicago. And this is what it looks like when the world stops moving. It's the fourth morning since everything stopped, if that even means anything anymore. I don't hear the city waking up like it used to. No buses, no horns, no garbage trucks. It's strange what you miss when it's gone. I used to hate the 6 a.m. clatter of the garbage bins down in the alley behind my building. Now I'd give anything to hear it again. It would mean people were still working, still living like they always did. I walked to the river this morning before coming back here. The bridges are stuck up because there's no power to lower them. People were trying to cross on planks they'd laid across the gap. I saw a guy fall in yesterday. Nobody jumped in after him. The water looked black. I don't even know if he came back up. The river doesn't smell right. Everything feels like it's rotting. I'm sitting here now, watching the battery meter on this rig drop lower. I've got a few more hours, maybe. After that, I'll have to shut it off and hope the crank holds. I've been saving the little gas I siphoned for when I really need the generator, but it's not much. Yesterday, I walked past the Thompson Center downtown. You know that big glass building that looks like a spaceship? Every window is dark now. I could see inside through the glass, and all the escalators are stuck mid-step. Papers everywhere, like it all just froze in 1 second. I don't know why, but that image keeps sticking with me. And the sky. I can't stop looking at it. It's been this dull gray color, like it's bruised. The sun still comes up, but it's pale. It feels closer somehow. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I'm just losing it. Maybe Victor was right. I saw Victor again last night. He hasn't left the lab. He said they're still trying to measure things, even though half their equipment is fried. He said the readings are changing every hour now. Gravity isn't steady. He said we might not even notice it yet, except for the headaches and the way water doesn't sit level anymore. But soon, he said, soon everyone will notice. He said he thinks whatever's out there is getting closer. He used words I didn't understand, but then he said something simple. The earth is being stretched, Hunter. That's why nothing works. It's pulling on us. I asked him if there's anything we can do. He laughed. Not a funny laugh. More like the laugh of someone who already knows the ending to the story. He told me there's no safe place. If this thing is big enough, it doesn't matter where you stand. It's like trying to hide from the tide. I left him there, sitting in the dark, staring at some dead screens. I don't know why he keeps going. Maybe it gives him something to hold on to. On my way back, I passed a grocery store. The shelves are empty now. People stripped it clean by the second day. The only thing left were a few bags of cat litter and some cleaning supplies. There were a few candles on the floor. I took one. I felt like I was stealing, even though nobody owns anything anymore. I'm trying to figure out how to sleep at night. It's so quiet, it feels like the city is holding its breath. Every sound feels too loud. Sometimes I hear footsteps on the street below, and I just sit still, holding my breath until they pass. Yesterday, I saw a family dragging a mattress down the sidewalk. A man, a woman, 2 kids. They said they were heading south to stay with relatives. I don't know how far they'll get. The roads are blocked everywhere, but they said it was better than staying here. I don't know if they're right. I don't know if there's anywhere to go that's better. I keep thinking about something I saw when I was a kid. There was a solar eclipse one summer, and the whole neighborhood stood outside watching it with those little paper glasses. I remember the way the birds went quiet, how the air felt wrong for a few minutes. It feels like that now all the time. I've been keeping a notebook here with me, writing down everything I see. I don't know why. Maybe so if this signal dies, there's still some kind of record. In that notebook, I wrote this down from last night. The wind sounds like it's coming from the wrong direction. My ears pop like I'm on a plane. The buildings creak like they're alive. And there's a taste in the air like rain, even when it's dry. I don't know what's going on, but something is twisting the world. If you're hearing this, and you're near a big city, stay away from the big buildings. If things keep bending, those towers are going to fall. You don't want to be near them when they do. If you're near a park, look for water, even a little pond. Anything that can help you drink and wash. People are starting to fight over bottles already. I saw 2 men swinging pipes at each other over a 6-pack of water bottles last night. If you still have canned food, save it. Don't eat it all at once. You don't know when you'll see food again. Learn to make a fire if you can. And for God's sake, if you still have a radio that works, even a tiny one, keep the batteries close. I'll keep trying to talk as long as I can. I walked past Navy Pier yesterday. It's just empty now. The Ferris wheel is still, stuck like a skeleton in the sky. The lake has pulled back even more since I last talked to you. There's sand where there didn't used to be. The air coming off the water feels cold, even though the day wasn't that cold. Some people are starting to say the water itself is leaving, like something is pulling it out toward the middle. I don't know if that's true, but I saw fish lying on the shore, dead, like they were thrown there. I can't stop thinking about what's coming next. If this thing keeps pulling, what happens when the ground starts to move? Last night, I had a dream that the city tilted like a table and everything slid off into the lake. I woke up sweating, and for a second, I thought it was really happening. I'm tired. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I just know it's been 4 days since the lights went out and the world feels smaller and smaller every time I wake up. I found a little radio in a box here at the station. It runs on a hand crank. I've been trying to tune it every few hours. Last night, for just a moment, I heard something. A voice. It was faint, but it said something like, "pulling apart," and then it was gone. I don't know if that was real or just my head playing tricks. I think about everyone out there who doesn't have anyone. People stuck alone in apartments, scared to leave. If you're hearing me and you're alone, know that you're not the only one. Even if you can't see anyone right now, we're all trying to make it through this. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, but I'm going to try to be here every morning. As long as my voice can go and this little rig can run, I'll keep talking. I want to say this too. Don't lose your humanity. It's easy right now to think only about yourself, but we need each other more now than ever. If you can help someone, even with something small, do it. I saw an old woman yesterday with a bag that was too heavy for her. I helped her carry it for a few blocks. She had a loaf of bread and a few cans. That's all she had. She cried when I set it down for her. Nobody has helped anyone in days. We can't let this thing strip away what makes us human. It's strange how fast everything fell apart. We always thought we had control, that the systems we built would keep running, that someone out there would always fix things when they broke. And then, in 1 minute, all of that vanished. The truth is, we were always just a thin layer away from this. We built everything on top of a fragile net, and now that net's gone. I wonder what's going to happen next. I wonder how long we have before the ground starts moving, before the air gets harder to breathe. But until that happens, I'll sit here, I'll talk, and I'll wait to hear something come back out of this static. If you can hear me, remember this. We are still here. I didn't sleep at all last night. I lay on the floor here in the booth with my jacket rolled up under my head and just stared at the ceiling. It creaks sometimes. The whole building does. You never noticed that before, you know? When there was noise everywhere, the creaks just blended in. Now I hear every sound, and every sound feels like a warning. The walls, the floor, the air vents, they all sound like they're alive, like they're breathing with me. Around midnight, the sky went pale. I could see it through the slats in the blinds. It wasn't lightning, and it wasn't the moon. It was just this weird pale color, like someone had thrown a sheet over the sun. For a while, everything had this washed-out look, and I thought maybe it was my eyes, but I blinked and blinked, and it didn't change. Then, it just went away, back to the dull dark. I keep thinking about that pull Victor talked about. He said, if it keeps pulling, we'll feel it in everything. First the electronics, then the water, then even the air will feel heavier. I think he's right. The air feels thicker every day. It's harder to walk, harder to breathe. People's shoulders are hunched like something is pressing them down. When I was a kid, I used to hold a magnet close to a needle and watch it twitch. That's what I feel like now, like the whole city is just a little piece of metal, waiting for something bigger to move it. This morning I went looking for food again. I went as far as the South Loop, walking slow, keeping my eyes open. The streets are emptier now. On the first day, Everyone was out yelling and arguing. Now, most of them stay inside. You see the curtains twitch, but they don't come out. And the ones who do are quiet. They don't make eye contact. I passed a bakery that's been closed since the first day. All the windows are smashed out. There's flour on the floor, white like snow. It's stuck to my boots. It's strange how something as small as that can make you feel something. I used to get coffee and a croissant there sometimes before work. Now it's just an empty room with glass all over the ground. I heard shouting a few blocks over, so I ducked into an alley. 2 men were fighting over a crate of something. I couldn't see what was in it, but from the way they were holding it, it must have been heavy. They were bleeding, both of them, swinging at each other like animals. I didn't stay. You can't be near fights now. They're too fast. Nobody cares about consequences anymore. I saw a burned-out car, too. Someone must have tried to start a fire for warmth, and it just caught. The whole thing was black. The tires melted into puddles. When I got back here to the station, I checked the crank radio again. Just static. It's been static every time. I keep hoping I'll hear another voice. There's this feeling now, deep in my stomach, that the city is shrinking. Not the buildings, but the space itself. Like the edges are closing in. I think about my mom a lot. She used to live out in Indiana. I have no way of knowing if she's still there. No phones, no cars. I picture her sitting in her little house with her garden out back. I hope she's okay. I keep telling myself she's okay. Victor said that if this thing keeps coming closer, there might be earthquakes even where there aren't usually earthquakes. He said the planet might start to twist. When he said that, I imagined the city just cracking apart. I don't know how much longer we have before something big happens. I keep telling myself to stay calm, but then the hum starts again. It's low, almost below hearing, but it's there. It makes my teeth ache. It started yesterday evening, just after the sky flickered. It hasn't gone away. It's like a deep vibration that you feel in your bones. I saw people holding their heads, pressing their palms into their ears. It doesn't help. You can't block it out. I wonder if that's the sound of the world coming undone. I try to remember what silence sounded like before all this. I don't think I can anymore. If you can hear me right now, if you've found a way to tune into this, please listen. You need to keep moving when the hum gets stronger. Don't stay near tall buildings. And if you start to feel dizzy, get down on the ground and wait it out. I saw someone pass out in the street yesterday. They just dropped like their legs gave up. I don't want to scare you, but this thing isn't slowing down. It feels like every day is shorter. I look at the sky at 5 p.m. and it's already dim. When I was walking back today, I passed a church. The doors were open. People were sitting inside on the pews, holding hands. They weren't praying out loud. They were just sitting there, heads down. I thought about going in, but I didn't. I don't know if I'd have been able to leave. I saw another family camped out under an overpass. They had a fire in a metal barrel. The kids were wrapped in blankets. I stopped and shared a piece of stale bread I found with them. The mother looked at me like she didn't trust me at first. But then she nodded and said, "Thank you. We still have that at least. I've been thinking about what matters now. It's not money, not the job, not any of the stuff we used to fill our lives with. It's water. It's warmth. It's someone you trust enough to sleep near. I've been trying to collect as much as I can in this booth. Cans, matches, a few bottles of water. I don't know how long I can stay here. At some point, if the building starts to shake, I'll have to leave. It's strange, but I keep wondering if anyone out there is still making music, playing a guitar or a piano in the dark. I used to hear someone down the block play trumpet from their window at night. I haven't heard it since all this started. You start to realize how much sound meant life. Last night, I heard something else. Around 3 a.m, the sky made that sound again. The same one as the first day. It was worse this time. It felt like it went straight into my skull. I curled up on the floor and covered my ears, but it didn't do anything. It lasted longer this time, maybe 2 minutes. When it was over, the whole city was quiet. More quiet than before, like even the rats stopped moving. I don't know how much more of that we can take. Victor thinks the sound is the air being torn. I don't know if that makes sense, but it sounded like that. I think people are starting to leave. I saw a line of people walking south, carrying whatever they could. Suitcases, bags, even a shopping cart. They didn't look back. I don't know if that's the right move. Maybe there's nowhere safe, but I understand why they're trying. I keep thinking about water, how it's pulling away from the shore. What happens when it pulls away from everything? I don't have answers. I just know that every day feels like it's sliding towards something I can't see yet. If you can still hear me, don't give up. I know it feels hopeless. I feel it too. But if you stop trying, it's already over. Look for people you can trust. If you find someone who can share a meal with you without taking it all, hold on to them. I think about that girl I told you about, the one with the broken flashlight. I keep wondering if she's okay. I'm going to keep talking, as long as I can. My name is Hunter Briggs. This is Chicago, and this is the 4th day of a world that doesn't work anymore. I can't tell anymore if it's morning or evening when I wake up. I keep my watch on my wrist, but I don't trust it. The sun looks the same no matter what time it is now. The light feels tired. The sky has been stuck in this gray-yellow color, like an old bruise for hours, maybe days. I walked out before talking this time. Just needed to move. It's cold even though it shouldn't be. I remember what August in Chicago used to feel like. You'd sweat just standing still. Today, I walked 3 miles and never took off my coat. The wind coming off the lake feels wrong. It isn't steady. It comes in waves, stops, then shoves you hard. I saw more people heading south. Whole groups this time. 10, 15 at a time. They were walking on the side of the road. Quiet. Most of them had kids. I asked one man where he was going. He said, "As far as my feet can take me." I asked him if he knew why. He just pointed at the sky and said, "You can feel it, can't you?" Then he kept walking. It's true. You can feel it. It's like someone pressing down on your chest all the time now. I used to think that was just me being scared. Now I think it's something in the air. I saw 2 dogs today. No owners. Just walking slow, sniffing around. One of them had a torn piece of leash still hanging from its neck. They didn't even bark when I walked by. They just looked at me, then kept going. The grocery stores are all empty. Everyone I've seen. But today I found a small bodega on the corner of State and 18th that still had some stuff in the back. It was dark inside, but I had a lighter. I found a few cans of beans and a big jar of pickles. The pickles smelled like salt and vinegar when I opened it. I sat on the curb and ate 3 of them. My hands shook the whole time. When I got back to the station, I almost didn't crank the radio. My hands were too tired, but I forced myself, and for about 10 seconds, there was something on the line. a faint voice, broken up. It said, "Northern Lights," showing up as far south as... And then it was gone. I don't know where that came from. It sounded like someone reading a list. I don't know if that means anything, but last night the sky did glow a little. Not green like normal northern lights, more like a pale ribbon stretching across the clouds. It was so faint I thought I was imagining it, but maybe it was real. Victor came by again today. His eyes look worse. Red, like he hasn't slept in days. He told me the lab has given up. They can't get their instruments to work anymore. He said the magnetic fields are so messed up that compasses don't even point north now. He told me this, and I want to say it out loud so someone else hears it. It's like the Earth doesn't know where it belongs anymore. I asked him what he meant. He said all the readings look like the planet is being tugged, stretched out of place. He said you can't see it with your eyes yet, but the numbers don't lie. He said it's like standing too close to a giant. I told him about the hum. He said he hears it too. Everyone hears it. It's coming from under us, he thinks. He said maybe the crust is moving just a little at a time. I asked him how much worse it could get. He said, "You'll know when the buildings start to crack." After he left, I sat here for a long time just looking at these walls. I keep thinking about what I'd do if this place fell. There's nowhere safer out there, but at least I wouldn't be crushed in here. I need to tell you about the fires last night. From the roof, I could see 4 or 5 burning in the distance. The smoke just hung in the air. No sirens. Nobody came to put them out. They'll burn until they run out of things to burn. The city doesn't sound like a city anymore. No hum of the trains. No horns. Just wind. Glass breaking. And sometimes, screaming. I saw a woman today carrying a big bucket. She was going door to door, knocking, asking for water. I didn't have any to spare. She looked at me and said, "We can't live like this." Then she walked away. I know she's right, but none of us know what else to do. If you can hear me right now, please remember this. Start saving rainwater. Anything you can collect. Put out buckets, pots, anything. When it rains, catch as much as you can. Boil it if you can. It may be all you get soon. I also want to tell you this because I keep forgetting how important it is. If you still have batteries, don't waste them on lights unless you really need to. Save them for your radio. Hearing a voice might be the thing that keeps you from giving up. I've been alone here for 4 days now. I've seen people, but I haven't really talked to anyone for more than a minute. You start to forget how to talk when you're alone. My voice feels strange in my own ears. I think about the people I used to talk to every day. People at the coffee shop. People at work. I can't even picture their faces clearly anymore. I don't want to sound hopeless. I'm just tired. I keep telling myself that every hour I keep talking is another hour that maybe someone hears me and knows they're not alone. The nights are getting colder. I've been wearing 2 coats inside the booth. My breath fogs up in front of me. I can see it in the glow of the little crank light. I've been thinking a lot about the noise. If it happens again like last night, I don't know what people will do. That sound makes you want to tear your own head off just to get away from it. If you hear it, lie down. Close your eyes. Breathe slow. It won't stop it, but maybe it'll make it hurt less. It's strange how much I miss little things. A shower, a hot cup of coffee, music on the radio. I saw a guitar today in a pawn shop window. Someone had smashed the glass, but they left the guitar. I thought about taking it, but I didn't. My hands wouldn't stop shaking long enough to play anyway. You know what else I miss? Laughter. Real, easy laughter. It's like it's been scrubbed out of the world. I can't hear the kids laughing in the park. I can't hear the buses full of people laughing at something on their phones. Everything sounds like waiting now. I've been writing down every little thing I notice. Maybe one day someone will read this notebook and understand what it felt like. I wrote this earlier. 5th day, sky like a bruise. Lake pulled away even more. The hum hasn't stopped since last night. People walking like they're underwater. Dogs quiet. Eyes tired. Everything heavy. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Victor said if this thing gets closer, the tides will go crazy. He said if you're near water, watch it. If it starts pulling back fast, run. That means something big is about to happen. I'm going to keep repeating this. If you're near tall buildings, stay away from them. If you're in a city, try to find a smaller building with a solid basement. I saw someone today who had built a little shelter out of doors and old plywood in an alley. It wasn't much, but it blocked the wind. That's a good idea. I don't know if anyone is listening, but I have to believe you are. So I'm going to keep talking, even if I'm just talking to the air. My name is Hunter Briggs. This is Chicago. Day 5. And we're still here, at least for now. I think last night was the worst one yet. I don't know if it's because I'm getting more tired, or if the world is just getting louder in its own way. I woke up 3 times to the sound of things shifting. Not cars, not people. Something deeper. Like the ground itself moved a little, and everything on top of it groaned. The first time it happened, I thought I was dreaming. But the third time, the chair I was sleeping on slid an inch across the floor. I sat up with my heart racing, listening, waiting to see if it would happen again. It didn't. But after that, I didn't even bother trying to sleep. The sky this morning looked wrong. I went up on the roof to see better, and for a long time I just stood there staring. You know how the clouds used to move across the sky with the wind? They don't anymore. It's like they're stuck, just hanging there, stretched thin. Every now and then, one of them folds in on itself, like a ripple going through a sheet. I could see the lake again from up there. It's pulled back even more, like someone's draining it slow. I don't know if it's safe to drink that water anymore. People are still filling buckets, but it smells. There's this chemical taste in the air near the shore. A lot of people don't care. They're too thirsty to care. They drink and just hope it won't kill them. I saw a group of kids with a shopping cart this morning, loading it up with bottles they must have found in an abandoned store. They couldn't have been older than 10. No parents with them. They didn't say a word, just kept looking over their shoulders like someone was going to take it from them. I wanted to help, but I didn't want to scare them, so I just let them go. The fires are still burning in the south. You can see them from some of the taller rooftops. There's no one left to put them out. The sky smells like ash all the time now. It stings your nose. Every time the wind shifts, you taste it. Yesterday, I saw someone walking down Michigan Avenue with a sign around their neck. It said, "The earth is falling." Just that. Big letters. They weren't shouting or anything, just walking slow. I don't know what happened to them. I lost sight of them when they turned a corner. I went back to the lab to see Victor again today. The building looks like a ghost. The lights are all off. I had to shout for him to come down. He's not staying there much longer, he said. There's nothing else they can do. He told me something that's been chewing at my brain all day. He said the instruments they still have working are showing that gravity changes depending on the hour now. Like sometimes it's weaker, sometimes it's stronger. He said that's why people are feeling heavy one moment and light the next. I told him about the chair sliding across the floor last night, and he said, "Yeah, that sounds about right." I asked him if this means it's coming closer. He said he thinks so. I asked him what happens when it gets close enough. He didn't answer me. He just rubbed his face and said, "Don't be in a high building." That's all I get from him now. Don't be in a high building. I've been thinking about leaving this station, but I don't know where I'd go. At least here I have walls, a chair, and this radio. Out there, I'd just be one more shadow walking down an empty street. You know what I saw yesterday that broke my heart? A line of cars abandoned on Lakeshore Drive, all pointed north. Doors open, some with bags still in them. People must have just walked away when the cars stopped. It looked like a frozen escape, like everyone tried to leave at once and didn't get anywhere. There's something haunting about an empty car with the door wide open. It's like you can feel the moment of panic hanging in the air. I keep looking at the skyline. It feels like one day soon, there won't be a skyline. The buildings look fragile now, like cardboard cutouts. I can't stop thinking about the sound. 2 nights ago, when it came, I thought my head was going to split open. And last night, even though it didn't happen again, I could still hear it in my dreams. It's like a memory burned into my skull. I think about that sound all the time. Victor thinks it's the air, but I think it's something bigger. I think it's the sound of everything being pulled apart, like the earth is screaming. I saw a man this morning with blood all down his shirt. He was sitting on the curb holding his arm. I asked him what happened, and he said someone hit him with a pipe for a bag of rice. I don't know if he'll make it. He wouldn't let me help him. He just sat there staring at the ground. That's what this is doing to people. It's making everyone desperate, and it's making them stop trusting. I haven't eaten much in 2 days. My hands shake all the time now. The beans I found yesterday are gone. I'm trying to save the last 2 bottles of water I have left. I take a sip when I can't stand the dryness anymore, then screw the cap back on like it's gold. I heard something else strange last night. It sounded like a train in the distance, but there are no trains running anymore. It was just this long, low rumble. It could have been the ground shifting again. Or maybe it was in my head. I can't tell anymore. I want to tell you something good too, though. Because not everything out there is terrible. I saw a man yesterday sharing a loaf of bread with strangers. He stood on the sidewalk and just ripped pieces off and handed them to anyone who walked by. No questions asked. He smiled at every single person. It wasn't much, but it reminded me that not everyone has given up. I saw a kid draw on the sidewalk with chalk. Just shapes, colors, a little sun in the corner. It stopped me in my tracks. For a moment, it felt like the world was normal. Then I kept walking. If you're listening to me right now, if you still have the strength, try to do one thing each day that makes you feel like a person. Share a piece of food, say something kind, even just sit in the sunlight. We need those things more now than ever. I don't know how much longer the city can hold together. I keep telling myself it won't fall apart overnight. But every day there are fewer lights in the windows. Every night there are more fires. I haven't seen the National Guard or the police since the second day. They're gone. No one is in charge now. It's just us. And the pull. Whatever that thing is out there, that's who's in charge now. I'm going to say it again, even if you've already heard me say it before. Stay away from tall buildings. Stay away from bridges. If you can find a place that's solid and low to the ground, stay there. Watch the water. Watch the sky. If the sky flickers again, get down. If the hum grows so strong you feel like you can't breathe, lie flat and wait. I'm going to try to keep talking every morning, but I don't know how much longer the power I have here will last. I'm already cranking the radio every hour just to keep this thing alive. I hope you can hear me, even if it's faint, even if I sound far away. If you can hear me, it means you're still here. It's strange, but I keep thinking about how the world used to be so loud, and now I just want to hear one familiar voice. Just one. That's what I miss most. I'll keep talking until my voice goes out or this machine dies. My name is Hunter Briggs. This is day 6, and this is me, still here. I woke up on the floor this morning with my mouth so dry it felt like I'd swallowed a handful of dust. I lay there for a long time staring at the ceiling, thinking about how I used to wake up to the sound of my phone alarm. Now there's nothing. No sound, no movement, just the heavy air pressing down on me. It's strange how you can get used to the silence, but never comfortable with it. It's not a peaceful silence. It's a waiting silence. Last night was another night of no sleep. Around 3 in the morning, the hum grew so strong that the glass on the window rattled. I covered my ears with my hands, but like I've said before, it doesn't help. It gets inside your skull. It's like your whole head is buzzing. After a while, it faded, but it left this ache in my teeth, like they were loose in my jaw. I've been thinking a lot about that sound. What if this is what the earth sounded like before anything lived here? Maybe that's why it feels so wrong to us. It's older than we are. I walked south today, down Wabash, past the tracks that aren't running anymore. It's quiet down there. The kind of quiet where your footsteps echo like you're walking in an empty warehouse. I saw more people moving in groups, but they didn't want to talk. They just look straight ahead and keep walking. They're scared of everything. I get it. I saw someone pushing an old baby stroller full of canned goods. No baby, just cans. They had them covered with a blanket, like they didn't want anyone to see what was inside. Every time I see people like that, I wonder how far they think they'll get before their legs give out. I wonder if there's anything waiting for them when they stop. The city looks worse every day. More broken windows, more smoke. You can smell it in the air everywhere. Sometimes I think I see the shadows of birds overhead, but then I look up and the sky is empty. You know what I noticed today? No planes, not a single one. I used to hate the constant noise of planes flying over the city. Now I miss it. It meant people were still going places. I stopped by the river again. The smell is worse. It's lower again, too. I don't know where all that water is going. It feels like the world is emptying out. On my way back, I found a grocery bag lying in the street. It had 1 can in it, just one. It was a can of peaches. I took it. I felt bad for a second, thinking maybe whoever left it will come back, but I know they won't. People don't come back for things anymore. They just keep going forward. I sat on the curb outside the station and ate those peaches with my fingers. I can still taste the syrup on my hands. I came back inside and cranked the radio. Static again. I think maybe I imagined that voice the other day. But you know what's strange? The static doesn't sound the same anymore. It used to be just a hiss. Now there are little gaps in it, like it's cutting in and out. Sometimes I think I can hear something under it, but it's too faint to make out. I wish I had someone here to listen with me, just to tell me if I'm going crazy or not. Victor came by late yesterday. He looked worse than before. His hands shake now. He told me the ground is moving. Not much, just a few centimeters, but enough that their instruments can feel it. He said it's like the crust of the planet is bending. I asked him if it's dangerous. He said, "Everything's dangerous now, Hunter." Then he told me something else. He said, whatever is out there, pulling at us, is making the planet slow down. Just a little. He said if it keeps slowing, days and nights will stretch out. He said that's why the sun doesn't look right anymore. When he left, I watched him walk away down the street. He looked so small. I don't know how he still keeps trying when he knows how bad this is. I saw something last night that scared me more than I want to admit. A building on Dearborn had these big cracks running up its side. They weren't there before. I ran my hand over one of them, and the wall felt soft, like the concrete wasn't solid anymore. I don't know if this city will hold up much longer. I've been thinking about leaving, but every time I imagine walking out there with just a bag and no plan, I stop. I wouldn't make it far. Maybe a few miles before I ran out of energy. Then what? At least here I can talk. At least here, if someone is listening, I know my voice is going somewhere. I need to tell you something that happened just after dawn. The sky flickered again. I saw it from the roof. It was like a ripple went across the clouds, and for a few seconds I swear my body felt lighter. My feet didn't feel as heavy on the roof. And then, just like that, it was back. The heaviness slammed down again. I stumbled and had to grab the railing to keep from falling over. If this keeps getting stronger, I don't know what it'll do to us. The wind has been strange today. It doesn't blow steady. It pushes you one way, then stops, then comes from the other direction. Sometimes it feels like it's coming up from the ground instead of across it. I saw a kid holding a kite today. It wasn't flying. It just dragged on the ground behind him. He didn't seem to care. He just walked, holding the string. I'm so tired. I don't know how many more days like this I can do, but I don't want to stop. If I stop talking, it's like giving up. I keep thinking about everyone who isn't here to hear this. All the people who didn't make it out of their cars that first day. The ones who stayed locked in their apartments waiting for the lights to come back on. I wonder how many of them are still waiting. I don't know how this ends. I just know I can feel something huge out there, and it's coming closer. You know what I want more than anything right now? To sit in a room with another person and talk about nothing. Just regular nothing. The weather, a dumb TV show, whatever. Just normal life. If you're out there and you're listening, and you have someone with you, talk to them. Even if it's about nothing. Don't let the silence get into you. I think the hum is getting stronger. It hasn't stopped all day. I can feel it in my chest. It's like the whole city is humming now. Victor said that's the planet groaning. I don't know if that's true, but it feels right. I'm going to try to keep this up as long as I can. Even if nobody answers, even if it's just static on the other end, I'll keep talking. This is day 7. My name is Hunter Briggs. I'm in Chicago, and I'm still here. I'm still here. I don't know how, but I am. I tried to sleep on the floor again last night, and ended up just lying there staring into the dark. I kept thinking about the hum. It never stopped. Even when it got quieter, it was still there under everything. It's like someone left a big engine running deep underground and it's shaking through the bones of the city. Sometime after midnight, there was a sound like something falling far away. It wasn't like thunder. It was sharper, like concrete snapping. After that, the ground felt soft for a few seconds, like I was standing on top of something that was breathing. I waited for another noise, but it never came. It's like the world just does these little things now to remind us that we're not safe, then goes back to waiting. When the sun came up, if you can call it that, I went out. The air felt thicker than before. It's been getting heavier every day, like you have to push your body through it. My head hurt with every step. I headed west this time, through streets I haven't walked since before everything died. I passed an old laundromat. The windows are broken, but the machines are still inside. I used to hate the smell of detergent when I walked past there. Now I went inside just to smell it. It still smells like soap. It almost made me cry, smelling something normal. There are people living in there now. They didn't say a word when I walked in. They just sat on the floor between the washers. A woman with her hair tied up and 2 kids. They stared at me, and I stared back. Nobody said anything. I just nodded and left. That's how it is now. We look at each other like ghosts. I saw a grocery store with a sign spray-painted on the wall. Nothing left. Don't bother. It's true. The inside was stripped bare. Even the shelves were gone. I've been looking for anything I can eat. I've been lucky a couple of times, but mostly there's nothing. I found a few hard candies in the gutter today. I wiped them off and ate them. They tasted like dust, but for a few minutes I felt okay. I came back to the river. It looks lower again. There's a smell coming out of it now like rust and salt. The surface looks uneven, like it's slanting. I don't know if that's my eyes, or if the pull is really warping it. I sat there for a while, just watching it, and I realized I couldn't hear any birds. Not one. There used to be so many. When I came back toward the loop, I saw more cracks in the pavement, long ones, running like spider webs across the street. Some of them are wide enough that you could lose your foot in them if you weren't looking. I came back here to the station and cranked the radio. Just static again. I don't know why I keep hoping to hear something, but I do. I keep thinking about what Victor said, about the earth being stretched. I can feel it. It's like everything around me is being pulled tight. I think a lot about the people I love. My mom in Indiana. My sister in St. Paul. I don't know if they're okay. I don't know if they even made it through the first day. I wonder if they think about me too. I wish I could tell them I'm still alive. I've been keeping track of the sky, and I swear the clouds look closer now. Like you could almost reach up and touch them if you climbed a tall enough building. I can't stop thinking about how easy it all fell apart. Before this, if you asked me what would happen if the power went out everywhere, I would have said, people will figure it out. Someone will fix it. But now it's clear. There's no one coming. There's no one to fix it. Everything we built was just paper, and it blew away in one strong wind. I walked by the old post office building today. It's huge. And I remember when they used to talk about turning it into apartments. Now it just looks like a tomb. The big glass windows are all black. I walked inside through a broken door, and it was like stepping into a cave. The air inside was colder. I saw footprints in the dust, but no people. There was a newspaper on the floor. The last date on it was 4 days ago. The morning everything stopped. I wonder how long it will be before no one even remembers what day it is. I want to tell you something that happened while I was out. I saw a boy with a bucket standing in the middle of the street. He couldn't have been more than 8. The bucket was empty. He was looking down into the cracks in the pavement, like he was hoping there'd be water there. I wanted to say something, but I didn't know what. We just looked at each other. He finally walked away with his empty bucket. I came back here and wrote it down in my notebook. I don't know why I'm writing all this down. Maybe someday, if anyone's left, they'll find it and know what it was like. I keep thinking about music. I can't get the sound of a guitar out of my head. I imagine someone sitting in the dark, strumming a guitar with no one listening. I haven't heard a single song since this started. Just static. If you have an instrument, play it, even if no one else hears. Don't let the silence win. I'm trying to hold on to the little things that still make us human. Like helping someone when you can. Like remembering the names of people you meet, even if you only meet them for a second. I saw an old man yesterday share a blanket with a woman he didn't know. That's what's keeping us alive. I don't know what's going to happen next. I feel like we're living in the pause before something even worse. Victor came by again. He looks like he's shrinking every time I see him. His face is all sharp angles now. He told me the magnetic fields are shifting more every hour. He said compasses don't work at all anymore. He said it feels like the earth is wobbling. He told me, "Hunter, if the pull keeps getting stronger, we won't have any control. We'll just go where it takes us." I asked him what we should do. He said, "Stay low and stay ready." That's all he says now. I walked him out to the street when he left. The whole time, we didn't talk. When I came back inside, I sat down and just listened to the static. The sun is almost down now. The sky looks darker than yesterday. There's a strange glow on the horizon, like a pale green light. Maybe that voice I heard was right. Maybe the northern lights are coming down this far. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I just know it means the world is different now. I don't know who's listening to this. Maybe no one. But if someone is, I want you to know that I'm still here. This is day 8. My name is Hunter Briggs, and I'm not giving up yet. I don't think the sun rose this morning. Not the way it used to. I opened my eyes, and it was already this dull gray color, same as when I fell asleep. It feels like the days and nights are blending together now, like the planet isn't sure what time it wants to keep anymore. I woke up with my jaw sore from clenching it in my sleep. My head feels heavy all the time now, like there's sand inside it. The hum hasn't stopped once in 2 whole days. Even now I can hear it, low and steady. It's become part of the background, but it gets under your skin. It doesn't leave. I went out again, farther this time. I needed to see if there was still something left out there. The streets are worse every day. I walked down Adams and counted 8 burned cars in 1 block. Their windows melted, doors still open. It looks like everyone just ran. People are starting to mark walls now. Big words painted on brick in black and red. I saw save water on one. I saw leave while you can on another. But leave to where? I saw a man pulling a sled down the middle of the road. There's no snow, just asphalt, but he had his things strapped to it. A blanket, a couple of jugs of water, and a kid asleep on top. It scraped and screeched against the ground as he dragged it. I followed them for a block, just listening to the sound before turning back. I stopped at Union Station. I don't know why. Maybe I just wanted to see if there was any life there. It's empty. Completely empty. The benches, the ticket counters, all of it. It feels like a grave. I walked into the big hall, and my footsteps echoed so loud I thought for a second someone was following me. There are bags everywhere. People left them behind, suitcases tipped over with clothes spilling out, a half-open box of crackers lying on the floor. I ate a few. They were stale, but I didn't care. In the corner of the station, there's a big crack running down one of the marble columns. I ran my fingers over it. It wasn't there before. It's new. I think the ground really is shifting. On my way back, I saw a woman sitting against a building with her knees pulled up to her chest. She was rocking back and forth. Her lips were moving like she was talking to someone, but there was no one there. I thought about stopping, but I didn't know what I could say that would help. I just kept walking. I'm starting to see that more now. People talking to themselves. People staring into space. It's like their minds are breaking before their bodies do. I came back to the river. It's still dropping. There's more exposed ground now than I've ever seen. You can see old junk on the bottom. Shopping carts, tires, things that have been buried for years. The smell is awful. I stood there for a while watching it. There's a sound that comes from under the water now, like a deep vibration. It's faint, but it's there. I can't drink from it. I don't trust it. I've been rationing what I have left. Half a bottle of water, 1 can of beans, a few mints. I don't know how much longer I can keep going like this, but every time I think about stopping, I tell myself that if someone else is hearing this, they might feel less alone. I cranked the radio again when I came back. For a second, I thought I heard something. A faint voice. It said, "Pulling apart. Chicago. Gravity. Chicago." And then nothing. It could have been my brain. It could have been real. I don't know anymore. Victor came again. He looks worse than yesterday. His hair is sticking up like he hasn't washed it in a week. His eyes are red. He sat down across from me and just stared at the table for a long time before saying anything. Finally, he said, "It's coming faster now." I asked him what he meant. He said the pull is stronger every hour. He said their instruments are basically useless now because everything's going haywire. He said time itself is starting to warp. I didn't understand what he meant, so he tried to explain it in simple words. He said sometimes his watch doesn't match the clock on the wall anymore, and there's no reason for it. He said some seconds feel longer than others. He said it's like the world is stretching. I asked him how much time we have left before something really bad happens. He just said, "Not much." When he left, he said, "If you hear that sound again, try to get underground. It might be safer there." I don't know where safe is anymore. I stayed on the roof for a while after that, looking out at the city. There are fewer and fewer lights every night. When I came back down, I sat here in the booth, and I thought about what life used to be like. All the things we worried about that don't matter now. Bills, jobs, arguments over stupid things. None of it matters now. Now it's just survival. I keep thinking about my mom's voice. I can't get the sound of it out of my head. I wish I could hear it just one more time. The hum is worse today. It doesn't stop. I can feel it through the floor, through my feet. It feels like my bones are buzzing. I don't know how much longer the city can take this. I'm telling you all this because someone has to remember. Someone has to know what it felt like. If anyone is hearing me right now, listen. Get water however you can. Store food. If you're in a city with tall buildings, try to move out of the center. The walls are cracking. It's only a matter of time before something falls. If you see the sky ripple, get low. Cover your head. If the hum gets so loud that you can't think, try to find a basement. I don't know if any of that will help, but it's all I have to give you. I saw something today that I can't stop thinking about. A boy was drawing on the side of a building with a piece of charcoal. He was drawing a house with smoke coming out of the chimney, something warm and safe. When he saw me watching, he smiled. It was small, but it was a smile. It made me want to cry. There's still some good left, even here. I don't know how long it will last, but as long as we can still smile at each other, there's something to hold on to. I don't know what tomorrow will be like. Maybe worse than today. Maybe the same. But I'll still be here, talking as long as I can. This is day 9. My name is Hunter Briggs, and if you can hear me, you're still alive. That means there's hope. I didn't even try to lie down last night. I just sat here in the chair with my head on my arms, dozing in little bits. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the hum louder. It's inside everything now. It's not even a sound anymore. It's like pressure. It pushes on you. You can feel it in your teeth and in your chest. I think I'm losing track of how long I've been awake. My head feels like it's full of sand and fog. This morning I went outside as soon as there was some light. The streets smell worse now. That mix of smoke, metal, and garbage is everywhere. I walked east toward the lake. The wind was coming in strong, cold, and it burned my face. It feels like late October, not summer. I saw a group of people trying to take apart an abandoned car. They were pulling the seats out and cutting the fabric into strips. One of them had a crowbar. I stood there watching until one of them noticed me and yelled for me to keep walking. I did. The sidewalks are covered in glass. I try to keep my shoes from cutting through it. I went down toward Millennium Park. The bean is still there, that big, shiny sculpture. It looks strange with no one around it. No kids running around. No tourists taking pictures. Just this big, empty silver thing sitting in silence. The ground around it is cracked. There's graffiti on the walls everywhere now. I saw one that said, "We are pulled." I don't know what that means, but it stuck in my head. I sat on one of the benches near there for a while. You can hear the wind howling through the empty spaces now. It whistles between the buildings. Sometimes it sounds like screaming. I saw more people heading south. They carry whatever they can on their backs. No one talks. They just stare straight ahead like zombies. I don't know where they think they're going. Maybe just away from here. I went to the lake again. The water has pulled back so far that there's a stretch of sand and mud where there used to be waves. It's covered in dead fish. They stink. The water looks uneven, like it's leaning. I knelt down and put my hand on the wet sand. The vibration is stronger there. You can feel it pulsing through the ground. I don't think it's safe to be near the water anymore. On the way back, I passed a burned bus. It's black, hollowed out. There's nothing left inside but twisted metal. I saw a dog sniffing around it, skinny, ribs showing. It looked up at me and then walked away. When I got back here, I just sat for a long time before cranking the radio. Nothing but static. I thought I heard something faint again. A voice maybe, but it was so weak that I couldn't tell if it was real. I keep wondering if maybe there are other people out there like me, talking into dead microphones, hoping someone hears. Victor came again. He looks like he's barely holding on. He said the pull is stronger. He said people in the lab are leaving. There's nothing left to do. He told me something that scared me. He said the ground has started moving more. Not just centimeters, inches. He said they can feel it. He said we might start seeing the city buckle. I told him about the cracks I've seen in the streets, and he nodded. He said, "That's just the start." I asked him what happens if this keeps going. He said, "It breaks." After he left, I couldn't stop looking at the floor under me. I keep wondering how much longer it'll hold. The fires last night were worse. I counted 7 different ones from the roof. The sky looked like it was glowing orange in patches. I saw a man carrying a piece of wood on his shoulder. He didn't even look at me as he passed. He was barefoot. His feet were bleeding. It's like everyone has become a shadow. I don't know how long I can keep doing this. I'm so tired. I saw a little girl yesterday. She was sitting on the steps of a closed shop, holding a stuffed animal. It was dirty and torn, but she was hugging it tight. She looked up at me and didn't say a word. That's what this world is now. Kids sitting alone with stuffed animals in empty streets. If you can hear me right now, don't wait for someone else to save you. Nobody is coming. Find water. Find food. Stay with people you trust. I don't know how much longer we have. I think the pull is getting stronger every day. The hum never stops. I saw a building tilt today. Not much, just a little, but it wasn't my eyes. It was real. I ran past it, just in case. I can't stop thinking about my mom. I wonder if she's okay. I wonder if she's scared. I want to tell her I'm still alive. I think that's why I keep talking, just in case she's listening somehow. I want to tell her not to give up. This morning, the sky flickered again. It was worse than before. The clouds rippled like waves in slow motion. I had to grab a pole to keep from falling over. For a moment, I felt like my body was floating, like I was lighter than air. Then, the heaviness came back, even stronger. I thought I was going to throw up. If that happens again, I don't know if I'll stay on my feet. Victor says it's going to get worse. He said the planet is bending like a piece of metal. I asked him if we'll make it. He didn't answer. I don't think he knows. I saw more cracks in the ground today. Some of them big enough that I had to jump over them. I think it's only a matter of time before the streets split open. I walked past a school. The playground is empty. The swings are still. It was so quiet I could hear the chain links creaking in the wind. I used to hate the sound of kids yelling when I walked past there. Now I wish I could hear it again. The world feels hollow now. I don't know what else to say except that I'm still here. If you can hear this, you're still here too. That has to mean something. This is day 10. My name is Hunter Briggs, and I'm going to keep talking until my voice is gone. I can feel it even while I sit here. The floor has this faint pulse, like the whole building is a drum and something deep under us is beating it. It never used to do that. I used to feel safe in this booth, cut off from everything, but now even the walls shake sometimes. I woke up from a short sleep with my mouth full of blood. I must have been biting my cheek in my sleep. It dried in the corner of my mouth. I wiped it away and just stared at my hands for a long time. My hands look older already. I think the stress is turning my skin into paper. When I went outside this morning, it felt different. The air wasn't just heavy. It was leaning, like there was a slant in the atmosphere. I thought maybe I was dizzy, but I saw trash rolling slowly toward the south without wind. It was just sliding. I walked north first, just to see how far I could get before the streets got bad. They're not really streets anymore. They're paths between broken glass and stalled cars. You have to step over bodies sometimes. I try not to look at their faces. There's a big crack running across Madison now. It goes from one side of the street to the other. It's wide enough to swallow a tire. I saw two people arguing over a plastic jug of water. They both had sticks. Neither of them looked like they had eaten in days. I walked past them fast. You don't get involved now. I found an office building that had its doors wide open. I went inside looking for food or batteries. There was nothing left. Every drawer pulled out, papers everywhere, phones smashed. I did find a picture on someone's desk. A family at a picnic. I stood there staring at it, thinking about where they might be now, if any of them are alive. I put it back on the desk before leaving. There's this smell everywhere now. Sour, metallic, like old pennies and smoke. It sticks in your nose. I stopped by the river again. It's worse. Lower. I keep saying that, but it's true every single day. I saw someone kneeling in the mud where the water used to be, digging with their hands. They were trying to get to the wet earth, maybe to drink from it. The mud stuck to their arms all the way up to their elbows. I wanted to tell them to stop, but I didn't. On the way back, I saw a building that looked like it was sagging. The walls are cracking open like an egg. I ran past it as fast as I could. When I came back here, I cranked the radio. I'm starting to think I just imagine voices now because I want to hear something so badly. Victor came back again. I don't know how he's still walking. He looks like a scarecrow. His clothes hang off him. He sat down across from me and said, "We can't measure anything anymore." I asked him what he meant. He said the instruments at the lab are all broken now. Not physically, but the readings are nonsense. The numbers don't make sense. He said it's like the laws of physics are unraveling. I didn't know what to say to that. I asked him how much longer we have. He said, "You'll know when the sky tears." I asked him what that means. He said, "You'll know when you see it." And then he left. He didn't even say goodbye. I went up to the roof again after that. The sky looks lower. It's this pale yellow-gray color with streaks of light green. I swear it feels like it's pressing down. I stood up there for an hour, just looking. The city doesn't feel like a city anymore. It feels like a trap. I saw someone walking down the street, pulling a shopping cart with a rope tied around their waist. The wheels were bent, so it dragged sideways. There were two kids inside the cart, curled up under blankets. I just watched them until they were out of sight. I keep seeing kids everywhere now. Kids carrying buckets, kids dragging bags, kids just sitting by themselves. No one was ready for this. I think about how fast it all fell apart. We were so sure that someone would fix things when they broke. But no one came. I think the hardest thing to accept is that there's no one left to fix anything. I saw a police car yesterday. The doors were open. There was no one inside. I wonder what happened to the officers. I saw an ambulance parked at an angle in the street. The back doors open. Empty. All the sirens have stopped. The only sound now is the wind and that hum. I can't stop thinking about that hum. Sometimes it feels like it's inside my head, pushing on my brain. Last night I thought I could hear words in it. Not real words, just shapes of words. I'm scared I'm starting to lose it. I saw a man today carrying a plank of wood on his back. He had nails sticking out of his coat pocket. He looked at me and said, "It's not going to hold much longer." Then he kept walking. I don't know if he was talking about the city or the world. I feel like I'm walking around inside a wound. The air smells like blood and metal. The cracks in the street are worse today. Some of them are deep enough that you can't see the bottom. I saw a car that had fallen halfway into one. The front end was stuck and the back end was up in the air. I don't know what happened to the driver. I think about leaving the city, but I don't know where I'd go. South? North? It's all the same. Victor says there's nowhere safe, so I stay here, and I keep talking. I keep hoping that someone, somewhere, can hear me. I don't want to die in silence. I don't want to disappear without anyone knowing I was here. This is day 11. My name is Hunter Briggs, and I'm still holding on, even if everything else is falling apart. I think the ground moved again last night. I was sitting here with my back against the wall when the whole booth tilted just a little to the side. It was so slow that at first I thought I was dizzy. Then a pen rolled across the desk without me touching it. I just sat there and watched it fall onto the floor. It only lasted maybe half a minute. Then it stopped. No sound, no crash, just that strange tilt. Afterward, everything went quiet in a way that made my skin crawl. I didn't sleep after that. I just kept thinking, what happens when the tilting isn't small anymore? This morning, I went out later than usual. The light wasn't any brighter than at night. It's like the sun has forgotten how to shine. The city feels wrong. Every building I pass, I'm waiting to see it lean or crack. You can smell damp concrete everywhere. I walked west again, down Monroe. The streets are empty now. Not just quiet, empty. Most of the people must have gone south. Every few blocks I see a figure in the distance, but they don't come close. I saw an old man dragging a suitcase with no wheels. The bottom was scraped raw from dragging. I don't know how far he'll get with that. He didn't even look up when I passed him. There's a gas station on the corner that used to have its windows covered in ads. Now it's just bare, all the glass broken out. The inside is stripped. Nothing left. Even the shelves are gone. I walked into the back room and found a notebook. It had a list of deliveries written in it. The last date was 4 days before everything stopped. I put it back where I found it. On the way back, I saw someone burning a pile of papers in a trash can. They weren't cooking anything, just burning them to stay warm. It's colder today. Every day gets a little colder. I stopped at a corner where 2 streets meet. There was a pile of belongings there. Clothes, shoes, a few boxes. No people. Just a pile. It felt like they were dropped there in a hurry. The cracks in the pavement are worse. You can see the dirt under the road now. I saw a streetlight bent almost in half. It looks like something pressed down on it from above. When I came back to the station, I cranked the radio. Just static. I keep doing it anyway. Victor didn't come today. I don't know if that's good or bad. Maybe he's still at the lab, watching the numbers turn into nothing. Or maybe he's gone south too. The city feels like it's hollowing out. I went up on the roof again. The horizon looks strange. The sky is green around the edges, and there's a faint light pulsing far off, like a slow heartbeat. I don't know if that's real, or just my eyes playing tricks. I stood up there for a long time watching. The lake looks smaller. It's not just the water pulling back. It's like the water itself is thinning out. I keep thinking about that first sound on the first day. How it felt, like the air ripped open. I wonder if we'll hear it again, or if the next sound will be the last thing we hear. I came back down and walked around the block. There's a store with a sign still hanging above it. Half the letters are gone now. Inside there are only a few things left. An old broom, some wires, a chair with one leg broken. It's strange how empty everything feels. Before all this, even empty places had a kind of life to them. Now it feels like the walls themselves are giving up. I found a piece of chalk on the sidewalk. White chalk, broken in half. I wrote "I am here" on the wall of the building next to the station. I don't know why. Maybe so that when I come out tomorrow, I'll see it and know I was real today. When I came back inside, I sat for a long time before turning on the microphone. I've been thinking about what to say. I don't want to just talk about cracks and fires and empty streets. I want to talk about something that still matters. I saw a man share a half-empty bottle of water with a stranger today. He handed it to them, watched them drink, then took a small sip himself. That's what we have left now. Even when the world is tearing apart, we can still choose to be kind. If you can hear me, hold on to that. Even now, it matters. Even now, it's the one thing we still control. I know it's easy to feel like none of this has a point. But if someone out there hears my voice and doesn't feel so alone tonight, then maybe that's enough. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. Maybe more cracks, maybe that sound again, maybe worse. But I'll keep talking. This is day 12. My name is Hunter Briggs, and I'm not done yet. I can tell you the exact moment I knew today was going to be worse. It was right when I opened my eyes and saw that the blinds were shaking, even though there was no wind. It was that low vibration again, running through everything like a muscle twitch you can't stop. I stood up and felt the floor pulsing under my feet. It wasn't strong, just steady. It's been happening off and on all morning. I opened the door to go outside, and there was dust falling from the top of the door frame, just from that tiny shake. I brushed it off my shoulders and went down to the street. There's more glass out there today than yesterday. Whole rows of windows have fallen out of buildings. You have to step around big, jagged sheets lying across the sidewalk. The streets are emptier. I thought there weren't many people before, but now it feels like a ghost town. I headed east again. The wind has been constant, coming in hard off the lake. It feels cold, and it smells like the water. I passed an apartment building that had collapsed halfway. The entire top corner has caved in. You can see people's things hanging out through the broken walls. Beds, couches, bookshelves. I saw a man standing near it, looking up at it, like he was waiting for someone to come out. He stayed there the whole time I was walking past. Every block I walk, there's something new. A bigger crack in the pavement. A tilted street sign. A smell like gas that's leaking, but never going anywhere. I passed an alley and saw two people huddled over a fire in a trash can. They didn't even look up when I walked by. When I got to the river, it looked like the water was lower again. It doesn't even look like a river anymore. just a long, wet ditch. I could see the mud stretching out forever on both sides. There were footprints in it, old ones and new ones, like people keep going out there trying to find something. The smell made me gag. I didn't stay long. On the way back, I passed a corner where a big truck had flipped on its side. It must have been like that since the first day. People have picked it clean. No wheels, no glass, nothing inside. I walked for hours. I didn't even mean to. I just couldn't bring myself to stop moving. It feels like if I stop, everything will catch up to me. I found a building with a wall covered in writing. Different people, different colors. Some of the words say things like, "We're still here, looking for water, waiting for someone, anyone." It hit me how many of us are all just waiting. I wrote something too. I used a piece of charcoal from the ground and wrote, "I'm talking every day on the air. If you hear me, keep listening." It made me feel like I was leaving a trail for someone. On the way back, I heard a noise I haven't heard in days. Laughter. I couldn't believe it at first. It was a group of kids. They were playing some kind of game with rocks, drawing circles in the dust. They looked thin, but they were smiling. For a second, I just stood there watching them. Then one of them looked at me, and the smile faded. So I kept walking. I came back here and cranked the radio. For a moment, I thought I heard a voice again, but it was faint. Just a few words. I think it said, "Pulling? You can't see it yet. Hold on." Then it was gone. Victor came again. He hasn't shaved in a long time. His beard is patchy, and his face is sunken in. He told me this: "The ground is bending. It's not an earthquake, not like before. It's slower. Everything is warping." I asked him what that means for us. He said, "It means the planet isn't what it was yesterday, and tomorrow it'll be even less." I asked him if there was any chance it will stop. He just shook his head. Before he left, he said something I can't get out of my head. "You can almost feel the world stretching if you stand still long enough." I've been feeling it ever since he said it. I stayed on the roof after he left. I stood so still my legs started to ache. And I swear I could feel it. It's like everything is leaning just a little, and you only notice when you try not to move. I stayed up there until the sun was gone. When I came down, I saw that the cracks in the street outside the station have gotten bigger. I saw a man walk past with a blanket over his shoulders. He didn't look up at me. I wonder if he's alone. I wonder if we all are. Tonight I'm scared to sleep. I keep thinking about the sound. If it comes back tonight as strong as it did the first time, I don't know if I'll make it through without my head breaking. I can feel my heart racing all the time now, even when I'm just sitting here. I think about my mom every second. I hope she's not alone. I think about everyone who used to listen to this station. I wish I could tell them all to turn on their radios right now. I don't know what I'd say, except, don't stop. Don't give up. Even if the world is coming apart, don't give up. I know that doesn't sound like much, but it's all I have. If you can hear me, don't stop. This is day 13. My name is Hunter Briggs, and I'm still here. The first thing I noticed today was the smell. Even before I opened my eyes, it was thick, sour, like rust and wet dirt, and it was coming in through the cracks around the window. When I stood up, my head spun. I grabbed the desk to steady myself, and I felt the whole thing vibrate under my hands. That low, steady hum hasn't stopped for so long now that I can't remember what silence really sounds like. I opened the door to the hallway, and a little bit of dust fell down from the ceiling again. It's been happening every morning. Tiny pieces of the building shaking loose. I stepped out onto the street, and it was colder than yesterday. I don't know how that makes sense in August, but it feels like winter is trying to come early. The wind burned my hands. I walked down toward the lake again. Every time I think it can't pull back more, it does. The sand stretches farther and farther out, cracked and muddy like a dried-up riverbed. There are new lines in the mud today. Long, wide splits. People were out there again with buckets, but they don't even talk to each other anymore. Just dig, fill, leave. Nobody looks at anyone else. I stood there for a while and watched the horizon. There's a faint shimmer way out over the water. Not light exactly, more like heat waves, but the air is cold, so it's not heat. I turned around and walked north along the shoreline. The wind was hard and I had to lean into it. The city looked smaller from there. I saw someone dragging a wooden sled with plastic jugs tied to it. Every jug was empty. The rope cut into their shoulders, but they kept walking. I walked all the way up to where the pier starts. Navy Pier used to be full of people, music, food, noise. Now it's empty. The Ferris wheel is frozen like a skeleton against the pale sky. I walked out part way, and the boards under my feet groaned. The water below is low and dark. I looked down, and I could see old posts sticking out that were underwater before. Halfway down the pier, I stopped and turned around. There was no one behind me. The city looked so quiet that it didn't feel real. I came back slow, taking my time. On my way back, I passed a group of people sitting around a small fire in a parking lot. They didn't say anything. I didn't either. I saw a man walking alone with a big blanket wrapped around him like a coat. His shoes were falling apart. I keep seeing more of that now. Shoes that are barely holding together. People wrapping their feet in cloth. I found a crumpled pack of crackers on the ground. There were 3 left. I ate them all sitting on the curb. When I got back to the station, I cranked the radio. Static. Sometimes I think the static itself is talking. I stare at it for so long that I imagine words hidden in the hiss. Victor hasn't come for 2 days now. I don't know if that means he left, or if he's still at the lab, or if something happened to him. I keep expecting him to walk through the door looking even more tired than before, ready to tell me something worse than yesterday. I hope he's still alive. The city feels emptier, without even that small knock on the door. I went up to the roof again. The skyline looks bent now. I thought it was my eyes. But the buildings really look like they're leaning. Just a little. The sky has a faint green glow to it, like something leaking through. I stayed up there until the wind was too strong to stand. On my way down the stairs, I had to stop and hold onto the railing because the ground tilted again. Just for a second, but I felt it. I keep telling myself to be ready for when it's not just a second. I walked out around the block before coming back inside. There's a small grocery store nearby that's been broken into so many times it doesn't have a door anymore. Inside, there's nothing but a couple of broken jars on the floor. I found a bent spoon behind the counter. I kept it. There was a mural on the side of the store that someone started before all this. It was supposed to be a bunch of flowers. Half of it's finished, and the rest is just outlines. It looks like someone was in the middle of making something beautiful and just had to stop forever. I stood there looking at it for a long time. When I came back here, I sat down and wrote in my notebook. Day 14. It smells like rust everywhere. The sky is green at the edges. The lake is pulling away like it's afraid of us, and everything leans. I think that's how I'll remember today. If you're hearing this right now, I need you to do something for me. Find someone you trust, even just one person. Tell them something you've been holding in. Don't wait. We don't know how much time we have left before the world bends so far that we can't stand on it anymore. I saw a boy today carrying a tiny puppy in his arms. The puppy was asleep, its head hanging over his elbow. He held it so gently, like it was the only thing in the world that mattered. That image has stayed with me all day. Even now, there are things worth carrying. I think about that as I sit here, talking into this dead air. If you can hear me, I hope you carry someone too. This is day 14. My name is Hunter Briggs, and as long as this old machine works, I'll keep talking. I spent most of last night sitting with my back against the wall, counting the seconds between the shakes. I've stopped calling them tremors in my head. It isn't like an earthquake, not really. It's more like the world is breathing, slow and uneven, and every few hours, it lets out a long exhale that makes the ground sag. I don't even notice the hum anymore, unless I think about it. It's like my brain tuned it out. But when I do notice it, it's all I can hear. It's inside my ribs, my skull, my teeth. When I finally closed my eyes for a little while, I dreamed I was walking on a bridge made of glass. Below me was nothing but black, and every step I took made cracks appear. I woke up sweating, convinced the floor under me was going to give out. The city felt different when I stepped outside this morning. The air was colder, thicker. It felt like I was walking underwater. I headed west today. The sky was pale, like someone had scrubbed all the blue out of it and left it raw. I passed a row of cars with all the doors open. Everything inside stripped out. I looked into one of them and saw a child's car seat lying on its side. I saw a man crouched over a hole in the street, scooping out water with a broken cup. He looked up at me once, and then went back to scooping. The sidewalks are a mess now. There are cracks everywhere, big ones. You can't just walk without looking down. I passed an old corner store that had the words, "We are gone," sprayed across its front. Inside it was empty, except for a few plastic hangers scattered across the floor. I walked farther than usual, past places I don't think I've been since before all this. There's a big old post office building out there. It looks like a fortress, but now the windows are all black, and some of them have fallen out. I stood across the street from it, staring at those empty windows, and I could swear I felt the whole place leaning toward me. I don't trust the buildings anymore. On the way back, I saw a group of people carrying a door between them like a stretcher. There was a woman lying on it, wrapped in a blanket. They didn't look at me. The wind today has been strange. It doesn't blow steady. It comes in hard, then stops, then swirls in a way that makes your clothes twist around you. I saw a grocery cart sitting in the middle of the street, tipped over. Everything in it had spilled out, mostly cans. They were rolling slowly toward the south, like the street itself was sloped. I crouched down and put my hand on the ground. I could feel it again, that faint pull. It's getting worse. When I came back to the station, I cranked the radio. just static. I keep thinking about those faint voices I heard before. I wonder if I imagined them. I wonder if someone out there is talking into another microphone just like this one, thinking the same thing about me. Victor still hasn't come. It's been 3 days now. I'm starting to think he's gone. Maybe he left. Maybe something happened. I don't know. I keep looking toward the direction of the lab when I'm on the roof, but there's no sign of life there. I went up there again today. From up high, the city looks bent. It isn't just me. The buildings are leaning, even if just by a little. You can see it when the light hits them right. The lake is smaller again. The sand is wide now, stretching far out. It looks dead. The sky looks like it's bruised around the edges. I saw that shimmer again, far out on the horizon. It looks closer every day. I stayed up there until the wind pushed me so hard I had to grab the rail. When I came back down, I passed the wall where I wrote IAMHERE with chalk. The rain from 2 nights ago washed most of it away. I wrote it again. I don't know why it matters, but it does. I walked farther down the block before I came back. I passed a bakery that used to smell like bread every morning. Now the windows are empty and the sign is hanging sideways. I stood there, remembering how it used to smell. That's all I could do. Back here, I opened my notebook and wrote, Day 15. The air feels like water. The ground leans. The buildings bend. And I still can't stop walking. If you can hear me, I need to tell you this. If you can find paper and something to write with, keep a record. Even if no one else reads it, write down the days. Because when this is all over, if it ever ends, someone should know how it felt to be here. I saw a woman today holding the hand of a small boy. She was carrying a bag in her other hand. They weren't in a hurry. They were just walking. And for a moment, watching them from across the street, it almost looked like a normal day. That moment stayed with me. Even with everything happening, there are still pieces of normal hiding in plain sight. Hold on to those when you see them. I came back inside and sat here staring at this microphone for a long time. I thought about what I'd say if my mom was on the other end of this. I'd say, I'm okay. I'm still here. I miss you. Don't give up. Maybe that's what I've been trying to say every day anyway. So, in case she's out there, I'll say it again. I'm still here. This is day 15. My name is Hunter Briggs, and as long as I can still say those words, I will. I woke up to the sound of something big falling somewhere out in the city. It wasn't close, but it was heavy enough that I felt the building shake for a second. After that, there was nothing. Just the hum, louder than it was yesterday. It has a weight to it now. I opened the door to the street and the wind nearly knocked me back inside. It's so cold now. I don't know what happened to summer, but it's gone. My hands went numb just from holding onto the rail. I walked anyway. The city feels emptier with every block I pass. It's like everyone left overnight. I went down LaSalle today. It used to be packed with cars and people, but now it's just rows of stalled cars with broken glass all around them. Most of the cars have their doors open. The air inside smells stale. I passed a man sitting on the steps of a bank. He had a small fire in front of him, burning what looked like paper money. He didn't even look up. The ground shakes every few hours now. Not enough to knock me over, but enough that you feel it in your knees. I saw a light pole bent so far that it almost touched the street. I stopped to look at it, and saw the concrete around its base cracked open. I can hear things now that I never heard before. The sound of metal groaning inside buildings. The deep creaks of the ground when it shifts a little. The streets smell like damp stone and ash. I walked past a grocery store that had a sign painted on its window. "Don't come in, nothing left." It was true. I walked in anyway, just to be sure, but there was nothing but a few cans torn open and an empty shelf. When I came back out, I saw a group of people moving quickly with backpacks. They had their heads down. I called out to them once, but they didn't even look up. I think everyone stopped talking. I walked south for a while. The cracks in the pavement are everywhere. Some of them are wide enough that you can see the dirt underneath. I saw a building that looked like it was sinking. One corner was lower than the rest. It scares me to think about what will happen when a whole building tips and goes down. I went all the way down to the river again. The smell hit me before I even saw it. It's so low now that there are whole pieces of land where there used to be water. People were out there digging holes in the mud. The sound of shovels hitting wet ground echoed in the air. I saw a boy fill a bottle straight from a puddle. He didn't even stop to look at it before drinking. I wanted to yell at him not to, but my throat closed up and I couldn't. On my way back, I saw a sign taped to a wall. It said, "If you find this, we went south. We couldn't wait anymore." There was no name on it. I think that's all anyone is doing now, waiting or leaving. When I got back, I cranked the radio. This time there was a sound that wasn't just static. It was faint, but it was there. I think it said, "Listen, hold on, the pull." Then it cut out. I sat there holding the radio, staring at it like maybe it would come back. But it didn't. I don't know if I'm imagining these voices or if there's really someone else out there trying to reach me. Victor hasn't come in 4 days now. I think maybe he's gone. I keep thinking about the last thing he said to me. "You'll know when the sky tears." I look at the sky every few minutes now, wondering what that's going to look like. It's getting greener every day. I went up to the roof again. From up there, the horizon looks like it's bending. It's not my eyes. It's the world. The wind nearly pushed me off my feet. I saw the Ferris wheel out by Navy Pier tilt slightly. Just a little, but enough that I had to look away. The lake is smaller again. The sand is dry and cracked far out from the shore. I stayed up there for an hour. When I came back down, I walked past the wall where I wrote, "I am here." It's still there. I traced over it again with a piece of broken brick. I need to see it every day. Back inside, I wrote in my notebook, Day 16. The ground groans. The wind bites. The water is leaving. And the voices on the radio are getting closer. I want to tell you something that happened on my walk today. I saw a man hand his last piece of bread to a stranger. The stranger cried, "Even now, even here, there are still people who will give something they can't afford to give. That means there's still something good left." If you can hear me, hold on to that. This is day 16. My name is Hunter Briggs, and I'm still holding on. Last night, I stayed on the roof longer than I should have. I wanted to see what the city looked like when everything was dark. You can still see a few fires burning here and there, but most of the lights are gone now. It was cold up there. I could see my breath hanging in front of me, even in the middle of the night. The wind was so strong I had to sit down and hold onto the rail. And then, right around midnight, the sky rippled again. Not lightning. It was like the clouds were made of fabric, and someone shook them from above. For a few seconds, everything tilted. My stomach dropped. It felt like falling while standing still. I had to close my eyes so I wouldn't throw up. When it passed, the hum was louder. I could feel it in my bones, like someone had hooked my whole body up to a deep bass speaker. I stayed crouched there for a long time, waiting for the world to steady. I came down and sat here in the booth, but I didn't turn on the mic. I just listened to the walls creak. I don't think I slept more than 10 minutes the whole night. When the light came, I went out again. I went north this time, past streets I don't usually take. I passed a row of stores, all of them smashed open. The glass on the sidewalk was like ice. You could hear it crunch under my boots. The air feels different. It has this weight, like there's something pressing down from the sky. I passed a parking lot full of cars that haven't been touched since the first day. They're covered in dust. On one of them, someone wrote in the dirt on the windshield, "We waited, but no one came." It made my chest hurt reading that. Farther up, I saw a man sitting on the curb with a small backpack in his lap. He didn't look up as I passed. People don't look at each other anymore. I walked for an hour before I turned around. The city feels like it's leaning. It's not just my eyes anymore. You can see it in the way water runs in the gutters. It doesn't flow straight anymore. On the way back, I saw a big department store with its doors blown open. Inside, the escalators are frozen mid-step. Papers and clothes are scattered everywhere. I climbed to the second floor and looked out over the street from the broken glass window. From up there, I could see the lake, smaller than before. I could see the Ferris wheel from here too. It looks bent. I stayed there for a long time, just watching, before coming back down. When I got back to the station, I cranked the radio. Static. I keep hoping that one day it won't just be static. Victor still hasn't come. It's been 5 days now. I think maybe he's not coming back. I don't know what that means for me. He was the only person who still came to see me. The city feels emptier without him. I went up to the roof again this afternoon. The sky was a pale yellow, almost white. The wind was so strong I had to hold on to the rail again. I saw the shimmer out on the horizon. Closer. It looks like something bending the air. I don't know what it is, but it feels like it's coming this way. The lake is so far out now that you can walk for what used to be underwater and still not reach the edge. I came back down and sat here staring at the wall for a long time. I wrote in my notebook, Day 17. The world tilts. The sky bends. The hum is louder than ever, and the water is leaving faster now. I think that's all I can write today. If you can hear this, I want to tell you something. If you still have someone next to you, hold their hand. Even if you don't talk, just hold it. We used to think holding hands was nothing, but right now it's everything. I saw 2 people do that today. They were sitting on a broken bench, holding hands, not saying a word. That's what made me stop walking for a minute. I came back here with that image in my head, because that's what's keeping me here right now. Even with everything else falling apart, we can still hold on to each other. If you're alone, you can still talk. Out loud. Say your name. Say what you see. Don't let the silence close in around you. The hum is stronger than it's ever been tonight. I can feel it in the chair, in the floor, in the walls. It feels like the city itself is vibrating. I keep thinking about what happens when that sound finally becomes too loud. Victor said to get underground when the sky tears. I don't know where I'll go, but I'll keep talking until that moment comes. This is day 17. My name is Hunter Briggs, and I'm not done talking yet.